Hey, it's Sonoma week. Rob CWV back with your NASCAR hit this week for the guys from Follow the Action, college kids, all the friends bringing you all the best advice. Had a good week last week with the NASCAR 3-0, what we gave you here, 2-0 on Truck Series matchups, 1-0 in the Cup, and probably should have given you some more. Had some other winners on the other side of the book that also did pretty well. 4-1 for the last 2 weeks, and picks we've given to you guys, and hopefully want to keep winning, keep making money. Off to Sonoma, off to California this week. Long truck trip for everybody. The Xfinity guys were already out west last weekend at Portland. Didn't rain this time. It was actually a pretty good race. What does a road course mean? What does Sonoma mean? Well, we run like 6 road courses a year now. Tight tier of favorites at the top in the Cup, guys. Basically, Larson, Reddick, Elliott considered the specialist here. This is Larson's best road course track. Reddick's considered the best road course racer right now, along with Elliott, who's a little softer on the number. He's been injured part of this year, missed a bunch of the season with a broken leg from snowboarding like a moron. Anyway, but they're all basically even in the line. Behind that, you have another tier, Busch, Kyle, of course, Chastain, some guys in the 1,000 area, Byron. Behind that, a little break back to 1,500 and 2,000. Blaney back in there behind some of those guys. You have Chastain and Suarez kind of that next tier. Bell back there in the mid-twos. Buscher, who was really good in a couple road courses last year at 2,000, 2,200. And then it breaks down to what I call the old guys, the guys that are clearly out there points racing, or more worried about the status last year, all sitting in that 2,500 to 4,000 area. If you're not starting up front, first couple rows here, you're not going to win. You're probably not going to be relevant all day. Rules been changed since last year. We still have stage racing. Points will still be accrued at the end of stage 1 and stage 2, but you will not have a stoppage, a competition caution, a mandatory pit stop, any of that stuff. So if you have a big lead on the track, which you expect, say, a Reddick or a Larson to have, you can continue it. You don't have to stop, bring the whole field back to you, and pit. And if you saw how it worked the first road course this year, Reddick won at Coda. Obviously, these long runs advantage those guys like Larson and Reddick. And you see what they've done. You understand why their lines are so cheap. I mean, they're so cheap right now. You've got, I think, Reddick and Larson both in the plus 250 area to qualify in the poll. And frankly, that's not that unfair a bet. I don't hate either of those. Not a lot of surprises. The books clearly expect the road course racers to win. You've not had what I call an old guy or a non-road course specialist win one of these things in 4 years. Any road course, honestly, since Truex at Sonoma in 19. Since then, steady diet of Chase Elliott, Larson, Reddick, Allmendinger, Chastain, and one for Suarez here last year. He's another guy with the bets up in the teens, has a good record of being top 10, top 15 here long before he won that race. Don't see a ton of value in a lot of the outrights. I think those outrights will move around some after qualifying, which is late. Saturday, 8 p.m. after dinner, 8 EDT. For those of you watching at home, I expect, frankly, Larson and Reddick to be great and get more expensive, and someone that next group behind them to look really, really good and get more expensive, but otherwise not a ton of movement. The other road course guys you worry about in a week like this, Cindric and McDowell, who are kind of road course specialists. Cindric's always a threat. Probably a good top 10, as was McDowell, who was very, very good here last year. We'll get to the point real quick. You don't need all this background, or not a ton of it. Xfinity racing Saturday as well, but a lot of the same characters from Cup dropping down to that and wrecking things. But we'll get to you real quick. Look, we like some matchups again. I'm big on Larson. Not as big on Reddick. Absolutely against, absolutely shorting Elliott. That team has been slow all year, regardless of the injury or not. Don't like their management. There will be fewer cautions, fewer pit choices to make at this race, but pretty short Elliott is where we're going. So in Cup, Larson, plus money over Elliott at Caesar. I'm shocked Larson is plus money. Take that, plus 110. Larson over Elliott feels too cheap at that plus 110. Other one we like, Ryan Blaney, maybe the hottest driver in the circuit right now. Finally got his win. Has gone from way back in points to now leading the points past Chastain last week. And he's a guy who's been consistently good, consistently fast, albeit in a Ford. He is one of the last non-road course specialists to win a road course race. Charlotte, Roval, late 2018. He's been competitive at all these. He's going to be out there looking for a win. He's going to take some chances. His pit crew has been good enough. You can get him top 10 at plus 130. Is still sitting out there at Barstool. That's a buy. Buy that all day. period. A couple other things we like. Going to give you 4 picks this week. In Cup, we're going to try this again. Truex over Harvick at Sonoma. Truex, a 3-time winner at Sonoma. Harvick's been good here, but he's been done it through pit strategy and track position stuff. Truex plus money over Harvick. We've seen that out there. We really, really like that. And then one more. We've got obviously this this Xfinity race. All the guys are super expensive at the top. That's going to be an Allmendinger, Larson, Ty Gibbs fight for the win. They're all priced like it. They're too expensive. The guy I like there, Cole Custer in a matchup. Cole Custer over Creed. Custer's raced for a bunch, been very competitive in everything he's run. The Xfinity Series has never run here before. So most of the drivers who aren't Cup regulars in the Xfinity race have never been on this track in a meaningful way. Custer has, I believe, 8th last year in Cup. Been out here in other things before, like ARCA and K&N Series. Great road course racer. He's strengthening up. He got us on a bet we threw out the public last week over Creed. This time we're going to go with Custer straight up over Creed in an even matchup. You can find that a lot of different places at -110 or -115. Unscored, but things we would dabble in. Zane Smith top 10 in Cup, 10x. 1,000, 10 to 1 for that one. Don't mind that. You've seen some guys sneaking into these top 10s. They're good road course racers. He's been here before in a truck, was second last year in a truck, was really, really good. We like Blaney as top Ford. Best price $750 is sitting out there at Barstow. I just think Blaney has a chance to be really, really good. Big picture, it's a Larson week, I think, almost completely. And that's it. I mean, I like Cindric. I probably want to buy some Cindric someplace. Maybe Cindric over Allmendinger. Just look at some things. There's going to be a lot of good ideas. Finally, the offshore matchups are not up yet. It is Thursday morning. They'll get up offshore. If there's anything great, I'll pitch it to you. But a lot of the depth is these offshore matchups where the books just lay out a formula and don't really pay attention to what they're doing. Finally, if you've hung out this long, absolute last chance, and I gave this to you guys on my public Twitter at RobCWV last Sunday night, Monday morning. Kyle F. Busch has now won 3 races. He's a former Cup champion. Doing great this year in the new car for Childress over the number 8 team. We gave you a play earlier in the week. You could buy his season bet, his Super Bowl, his win the championship, the Winston Cup, whatever, at 12 to 1. And we recommended it at one place, and it dropped. It has been cut in half from 1,200 to 600. But there's still some 1,200 out there at one other domestic spot. 365 has it. And understand, Kyle Busch, tied for the most wins in the season. Great car, great driver, long-term competitive, something to prove. Does he have an 8% chance of winning the Cup or better from where he's sitting? Probably. So if you believe Kyle Busch is worth 8% or better, go buy some 12 to 1. You understand your units. It's up to you what to do. And I've recommended multiple cars this year at different prices to win the Cup. I gave my subscribers Byron at 16 to 1. A couple months ago when he was still cheap. Now obviously he's half that as well. And you've seen this Kyle Busch line get cut in half at DK, cut down to the 800s almost every place else. Still 1,200 sitting out there at 365. Put some of the portfolio with some of the other good ideas we've had, and you can still get Reddick at 2,500. That's going to get cut in half if he wins this week. I'm going to go clip some of that as well. But get you the Kyle Busch at 12, get you a little Reddick at 25, and we'll talk next week after some more wins.